Detroit Lions fans, Detroit Den 313 back with another one. Steve and Will here, ready to talk some Detroit Lions football. But before we do, hit that subscribe button if you just stumbled upon us, or if you've been a returning member and haven't hit the subscribe button. Shame on you. Shame on you. But members, think about becoming a member. It is not required, but it will be greatly appreciated if you do it, and you'll get yourself an opportunity to win some gear, signed gear, tickets, memorabilia, gift cards, signed Aiden Hutchinson helmets, all types of things. But to the business, Steve, I think we might have a guy on the docket today that a lot of people aren't up on. So what the heck are we talking about?
Well, first of all, before we get into it, I had some people questioning our fandom for the Detroit Lions because we took a couple of days off. Like Steve and Will, just Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays. Like, I guess we just have to be available just around the clock at a drop of a hat. And I'm all for it. I wish that were the case. I wish it was the full-time job was just to sit back and talk Detroit Lions, but that's just not the case. So, yes, the podcast does continue. We took 2 days off. Apologies. I know that the streets were in turmoil. There was mayhem in the streets, Wilford. I don't know what our guy in Indonesia is doing right now. He's probably just driving to town, refreshing his phone, trying to get some signal to watch Detroit Den. But here we are. A guy we got today flying a little under the radar. Shame on me. I don't know if you have any shame to take, Will, but shame on me for not doing a little bit more research on Jakobie James. Because once I started doing a little digging, Will, I started liking what I'm seeing the more digging I'm doing. How do you feel?
Yeah. Upset, Steve. Upset because I told you earlier today. I said I mentioned this young man, but I will say in your defense as well, I didn't do a bunch of digging on him. Setting the table, the only reason that I was talking about this young man, because I was aware of who we brought in as unsigned or undrafted free agents. So, but he wasn't a guy that jumped out to me until, Steve, this happened. So the Detroit Lions, they put these things out in these little videos, these little snippets of rookie minicamp, the workouts, they put these little videos out. And as I'm watching the videos, Steve, I'm like, two things. Dominic Lovett just kept popping out, making plays to me. And then there was this dude, number 80. And I was like, man, who the heck is number 80?
Charles Rogers? Who are we talking about here?
What are we doing? R.I.P. R.I.P. Mr. Rogers. But I'm like, who is this guy number 80? So I had to go look up and see who it even was, man. Just full transparency. So I looked it up and I was like, oh yeah, I remember him, man. So he's just making plays. Every little video that I see the Detroit Lions putting out, I see him catching the ball, making a play. That interests me. So then started pulling up a little film. The guy made some plays, and there's some more that we're going to get into, I'm sure. But, Steve, that's how he truly got on the radar for me. The Detroit Lions putting out videos of what was going on.
I'm kind of in a similar boat. I was just kind of bored the other night, and I was like, all right, let's just go take a look at the Lions depth chart. Like, we talked Hutch, we talk J-Mo, we talk all the big names. I was like, is there anyone out there we haven't talked about? And I started doing a little research. I was like, okay, let's look at some of the undrafted free agents. And I just picked one. Honestly, I was just like, all right, let's do a little digging on him. The first thing I saw, Will, was at his pro day, he ran a 4.37.
Yeah,
that's special speed. All right, that's pretty fast. Like, I would like to see him versus J-Mo. I know who would win that race, but just like a measuring stick, I'd just like to see how that goes down, because 4.37 at 6'1", I know he's listed as 6'1", 195 pounds. Like, that's pretty good size and pretty good speed. Like, whoa.
It's ripped up too right there, too. He's pretty shredded wheat.
I mean, I'm telling you right now, I didn't know if that was Will Ford Sr. or Jakobie James with their shirt off. I could really just no difference, I think. So
I'll take this shit off the podcast ends.
Out of Detroit Den OnlyFans, what are we turning it into? I mean, I don't have the physique, but I got, I think, good feet for a guy. I don't know, maybe we could make a little side hustle out of that. But yeah, what were we even talking about? 4.37 speed, that's going to catch my attention. That's where I started, and I started doing a little digging. All right, like you showed in the graphic, he's a little bit older for a rookie. He's 24, going to be 25, a lot of college experience. I do have some concerns. We'll probably talk about that as we go, but my immediate thought is he's got his hands full trying to make this team. So those plays that you're talking about in camp, he's going to have to do a whole lot of that and a whole lot of stuff in preseason games to really make this team, because we're pretty deep at a lot of positions, and wide receiver is one of them.
Yeah, Steve, man, there's a path. There's a path, and I'll say this, you know, Monroe, right? Coming out of Monroe High School, right?
Hmm.
There's a young man that I'm related to. Went to the Green Bay Packers. Shame on him. He didn't have a choice though.
I mean, when you're drafted, you don't have a choice. So, I mean, hey, you make it to the league, you don't get to pick who you go to.
So be it, right? Yeah. So he went out there, and there was Robert Ferguson, there was Donald Driver, there was Javon Walker, there was this dude Antonio Chapman that people probably don't even remember. But there was no way that he was supposed to make this team. Ends up making the team. So I think that Jakobie is under the same circumstances. He has to continue to do those things, just as you said, to make this team. Steve, when we're talking about that, we didn't even got to talk about St. Brown and J-Mo, or probably even Khalif Raymond or Isaac Tesla. Probably Tim Patrick is probably on this team to start this thing off. We got to talk about your boy TK85 and Tom Kennedy. We got to talk about Jackson Meeks, who got a $200,000 signing bonus as an undrafted free agent. Man. So we got to talk about Dominic Lovett, who I've told you I absolutely love. It's no easy path just to walk into the Detroit Lions and
Ronnie
make
Bell.
this team. Yeah, Ronnie Bell is another one. So he's fighting an uphill battle, but when you said you wanted to talk about him today, I was so glad you did, man, because this is something that I've kind of been on the fence about, because he's a good football player. When you watch his tape, dude makes plays. Now, Steve, you talked about it, and I'm gonna come for you because you hammer me all the time.
Only fans and coming for me. I like where this is going.
Unreal. Keep PG, kids. Plug your ears. No words. But you. I don't even want to say the words again, but you know, yeah, you get on me. That's probably still not a good, but you know, I don't even know. You know what you do. But anyways, so anytime I say something to change, you get me. So I gotta say, you've hammered me about. There's nothing. There's
just continue. Well, there's my mind's in the gutter today.
I'm lost now. But anytime I talk about Hendon Hooker, let me just put that on here. You talk about him being a granddad. So speaking of grandads, let me see if the technology is my thing again here. I haven't did this one in a while, so let me go in here. So Jakobie, man. As I go through here, so he graduated and got drafted out of UMass, but before that, right, he was at Eastern Washington. And not only was he at Eastern Washington, he was there for 25 years. 25 years he was there. So 2019, he came in redshirt freshman, but appeared in 3 games, as you can see here. 2020, 2021, his redshirt freshman year, he played in 6 games, right? Then we go to 2021, all right? He's playing still as a sophomore, redshirt sophomore. 2022, again, he's a now junior. Then his senior season, he gets banged up and he gets a medical redshirt. I'm assuming that's what this ends up being. And then Steve, he transferred him to UMass. So over that career at Eastern Washington, it looks like we're looking at 61 passes, 825 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Those aren't really numbers over a career that excite me. Over 27 years or 5 years at a school, playing that, for getting in 3 games as a freshman, even though he redshirted. So over 5 seasons, those are the numbers. So that I was questioning that when I first started doing digging, but his senior season, he had a good year, almost 1,000 yards. I don't have the stats right in front of me.
I think he had 80 catches,
6 touchdowns, I think.
50 catches, 839 yards, 6 touchdowns. Yes.
So he had a good senior season. So I'm like, okay. Then I watched the film and I'm like, okay, dude's making plays. He made some plays, had like a 75-yard touchdown, had one where he went up over 2 dudes. Like he made some plays. The only thing that I worry about with him is he doesn't have a whole lot of wiggle to him. When he catches the ball, it's kind of like use that 4.3 speed. I'm trying to cut against the grain. I'm trying to make a quick cut after I make the catch, get upfield, and try to outrun you. He's not a guy that's catching the ball, breaking guys down, making moves after the catch. So that worries me at the NFL level because all of these DBs and safeties are going to be fast. You're not just going to outrun people without getting them off balance and making juke moves and making things happen. So that worries me about his game, but he's got a lot of potential. I like his hands. He will go up and make plays. I'm interested to see what he does in camp, man. He'll be one of those guys that I'm watching and I'm looking to hear about because I think there's a reason why he's jumping off of the screen every time these Detroit Lions putting out videos because there's like 4 or 5 guys that I'm seeing in these videos, man, and he seems to be one of them. Dominic Lovett seems to be another one, and then you got the normal dogs, J-Mo, St. Brown, Sam Laporta, and the normal guys or whatever, but he's popping up making plays for a reason.
We must be in lockstep, Will, because that's exactly where I was going next is 1 year of decent to above average production is a little bit of a red flag for me. When you played at college for, I don't know, I think we have a doctor on the team, if I'm being honest with you. Like you go to college for 7 years, you should come out with a doctorate and some type of degree. Little concerning that, you know, I get it. Eastern Washington, not exactly a powerhouse. Transfer to UMass, not exactly a powerhouse. But, you know, you can go to a small school and still blossom and be a really good football player. But his stats just don't jump out at you for what his size and attributes are to me. Like if I look at a guy who's 6'1", 200 pounds, running a 4.3, I'm thinking this dude has to be the biggest athlete on the field. So what do? I saw 4.37 on his pro day, and I had to go look. And I'll be honest, when I'm watching his tape, I'll say the same thing I said about Matthew Golden coming out of Texas. I didn't see 4.37 speed on tape, William, at all. Like I thought that was UMass's, you know, I know they're called the Minutemen, but I feel like that's how fast he's running in a football game. He's running like a Minuteman, like 1 minute to get 40 yards. Like I'm not trying to knock the kid, just trying to have a little fun. But I did not see 4.37. All right, I did not see him pulling away from people. I saw a lot of catches where he's making a catch. He's got good hands. I think that's a very positive thing. I think he has great hands, but I didn't see a lot of separation. When you run that fast, I feel like you should, you know, really tone in on working on your feet work, and creating separation with your speed. Didn't really see a lot of that. I just saw him kind of big bodying some people at these, you know, small colleges and taking advantage of his size, but that ain't going to work in the NFL. Like 6'1's okay, but it's not overpowering for a wide receiver. So if there's real 4.37 speed out there, I think that's the tool he's going to have to try to find and use that to his advantage because like we were rattling off some of these names for wide receiver. Like we know who's locked in, like you said, St. Brown, J-Mo, Tim Patrick, Tesla, Khalif Raymond. And then I feel like the door's open. The door's open for another receiver. Is it going to be Lovett, Ronnie Bell, Jakobie James, Jackson Meeks, Malik Taylor? Like, I don't know. It's slim pickings. I feel like there's one job up for grabs to make this team. And I think there's some guys out there with some NFL experience. I really like Ronnie Bell. We talked about him with the San Francisco 49ers, had a quiet, good season a few years ago that a lot of people don't even realize. So he's got his work cut out for him. So big question, can he make an impact on special teams? I think that's how a lot of these under the radar bubble players are going to have to be an impact is on special teams. So do you think that that's the route he's probably going to have to go? Because even on special teams, like, Will, we got a lot of competition at the gunners, some returners, like, it's no just, hey, show up and you got a job. There's some other guys that are ahead of you, I think.
Yeah, that's the problem, Steve. That's the problem. I think Dominic Lovett, obviously, he's a guy that I think beats him out special teams wise. Khalif Raymond returning kicks. He wasn't even returning kicks in Eastern Washington, so I don't think that he's going to just show up in the NFL and be returning kicks for us. It's just a tough path. Like you said earlier, no knock on this kid. You wearing Honolulu blue, we're cheering for you. Just a tough path, though. Now, I do believe he's one of those guys that'll probably get picked up by somebody. I honestly, Steve, if this was a couple of seasons ago where guys were getting picked up and Quantez Cephas was like one of the better receivers that we had, you know, he probably makes the team or he's competing to make the team. But now it's just too tough in Detroit in that receiver room. So I think he's probably a guy gets kicked to a practice squad, similar to Isaiah Williams, and then somebody will pick him up. Same thing with Jackson Meeks. I think probably gets kicked to the practice squad. Somebody picks him up. We're in a situation to where our roster is at a point to where NFL players, NFL caliber players now will get kicked to our practice squad, and then they'll get picked up by other teams. So that's just the nature of the beast. I think he'll have a job in the NFL somewhere. I just don't think that'll be in Detroit. Not saying I'm not cheering for him though. Definitely cheering for you, man. Hope you find your way, but I just don't see it. Steve, do you see any path that he ends up in that? I'll say you got to be in that top 5 because I don't know if we'll carry 6. It depends. I guess it'll depend on if it's like a somebody that's returning kicks or somebody that offers that gunner position or something like that. But other than that, I don't know if we're carrying 6 receivers into an active roster.
I don't think so either. I mean, we have 2 locked in, like for sure, locking in today. St. Brown, Williams, JMO. Tim Patrick, I mean, I feel like he's going to make the team. And then Dominic Lovett and Tesla, those are 2 kids who were drafted. I think obviously they're going to make the team. You're not going to cut 2 guys who were drafted. So I think that's your 5. If that's what you're looking at, that's just your 5 right there. Like, no problem. Let's go home. So who's the odd man out right in that scenario? If you're not carrying 6, is Dominic Lovett taking it over Tim Patrick? Like, that's the only situation I can see where if you say we're only carrying 5, then it might be Tim Patrick, getting cut. And I wouldn't want to see that. I'm not cheering for him to get cut. I like Tim Patrick. I think he started playing really good football for us at the end of the year. But, Will, I'll tell you this. You mentioned Hendon Hooker. I can't picture a quarterback who's set up more for success in this preseason than him because these weapons he's got, William, he should be slinging the ball all over the field. I don't want to see any more 3-yard curls or 2-yard outs. Like, let's sling this thing around and see what we really have in Hendon Hooker in preseason, because I don't give 2 shits about score. I want to see how he commands an offense. I don't care if we lose a game 49-0. I want to see how Hendon Hooker looks. I want to see him getting 3 quarters every game. I know that's probably not going to happen. It'll be divvied up into halves, him and Kyle Allen, but we got to get a good look at Hendon and see what he's got. And when we're talking about all these receivers battling to make teams, like, I think he's got a pretty good receiving core going into preseason with all his backups.
Steve, I don't see any reason why everyone but probably Khalif Raymond, J-Mo, and St. Brown is out there. I don't see any reason why Tim Patrick isn't out there, because he's fighting for a job. He's got to fight off Isaac Tesla. Like, so he should be out there. I know he's a veteran, but he should be out there showing that he's going to hold this young dog off. I would expect Tesla to be out there. Dominic Lovett, like you said, Jakobie, Keenan James should be out there, man. So I'm like, you're right, Steve. There should be more than enough for you to be moving the chains. If we're talking about that group against a second-string secondary group, that there's a lot of hype going about with my boy, our Michigan man Tesla. He should be showing out. Him and Hooker should be running it up. It would be my expectation,
And I think our starting interior offensive line needs to take a lot of preseason reps too. Put Penny Sewell and Taylor Deckel in bubble wrap. We don't need to see them, but Mahogany, Glasgow, Frazier, Ratledge, those 4 guys need to be cycling in and out and getting some reps, because that's a young interior offensive line. So I feel like they should be at Hendon Hooker's disposal too. So he should really be playing with number 1 offense, pretty much minus the running backs and Sam Laporta. Like, I think this is Hendon Hooker's chance to either, hey, be a Detroit Lion for a little longer than we anticipate, or raise your trade value so we can get something for you. You can go play football for a team where you have a chance to take over and actually get some meaningful game reps, because preseason, you're looking at all those wide receivers, and we have a young offensive line. Those guys have all got to get reps. I don't think we can afford to sit the offensive line as young as they are either. So Hendon, you pretty much got the keys to, I don't want to say a Ferrari, but you got like, I don't know, Ford Raptor maybe. Like, you got a really nice pickup truck with a little muscle on it. Is that a fair assessment, Will?
I would say so, man, because you're going to even have a veteran running back. You're going to have Craig Reynolds probably. You probably get a little Sione Vaki. Like, you should be moving the football this preseason. I said it before. I'm expecting Hendon Hooker to get a lot of snaps and light it up preseason. And I know a few people have commented about talking about preseason. I'm not saying that preseason is going to be indicative to what the regular season is about, because I don't expect Hendon Hooker to be out there in the regular season.
Period.
But what I do want to see is, can Hendon Hooker command an offense in the preseason? Because I would suspect if he can't command an offense in the preseason, we don't even got to talk about the regular season. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, there's no more excuse of like, hey man, he was throwing to the only good receiver that he had was Isaiah Williams, because that was a thing. Him and Isaiah Williams were linking up. They were doing a little something, but there wasn't a lot else out there for him. Okay, that's fine. This season, he should have some people out there, and I want to see him move the football. As Coach Brunell, Coach Campbell, our GM Brad Holmes has said, take that second QB job and put some pressure on Jared Goff. Hey, I'm not saying you're going to take his job, but there's no reason why you can't be nipping at his ankles.
Did you end up buying tickets to the Hall of Fame game? I know you said you were thinking about it. Is that still on the fence?
I got to work. Some of us got to work, Steve, for a living.
Hey, you need the number to call off. I know you know it. I know it's probably dialed into your phone. Is it speed dial too? Because I know one's voicemail is to that call off line. Sorry, I got that. I
can't confirm nor deny.
Just tell me, I got the C flu. I just don't see my ass coming into work tonight because the Detroit Lions are playing football. But me and my wife are going. We're going down to Akron, Hall of Fame game. We're going to get a bird's eye view. The only player I have got my eyes on that game is Hendon Hooker, because it's going to be a nationally broadcasted game, the first game of the NFL season. I know it's preseason game, but that's kind of a game that'll be highly televised. So there's going to be a lot of eyes on you, Hendon. This is a golden opportunity for you to do something with it. I look forward to it. Can't wait. Tomorrow is the first day of July, Will. So that means we get Detroit Lions football in July.
Let me ask you a question.
What you got?
Does Jared Goff take a snap?
No.
Of preseason?
Not William. If he even comes out in pads, I'm upset. All right. T-shirt. I want to see the little earpiece in his ear. A chew or whatever, some bubble gum, whatever he's got on, some windbreaker pants, whatever he wants to wear other than a Detroit Lions uniform, like hoodie if it's cold, rain jacket if it's a little rainy. Don't put those pads on. I don't need to see all preseason. And I know a lot of people, well, the offense could come out slow. Well, we haven't come out slow the last 2 seasons, so I'm not worried about that. The only thing I can see people arguing about is new offensive coordinator, maybe getting some reps in, but still, I don't need to see Goff. I don't need to see Sewell. I don't need to see Decker, Hutch, anyone in our starting secondary, anyone on our starting defense. We need to protect all those guys after what we had last year. Don't need to see St. Brown. Don't need to see J-Mo. Don't need to see either of the running backs. I don't need to see Sonic or Knuckles. I don't need to see Laporta. Like, William, I'm just looking for essentially like a really, really, really good college football game when we go into preseason.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you 100%. I just want to see where you were at. I was just fishing for a "Are you nuts, man?" I just can't get one today. You won't give me anything. But I agree.
You're not exactly a fisherman, but I think the only thing that's interesting is the John Morton. He's not Johnny Morton. Johnny Morton was the wide receiver for the Lions. Yeah, it's just a fun name I call him. John Morton, the offensive coordinator, is the only thing that's kind of intriguing with the Goff thing, because new play caller, do they need to get some game reps? I prefer the simulated practices myself. So preseason games don't need to see Jared Goff, where you can actually get hit. Let's get some reps in a controlled environment in those simulated practices.
It's pretty much been said that the simulated practices are more intense than these games for the starting offense and defenses.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what it is. That's where we're going to truly get our test, and we're going to have some situational stuff too. And I truly believe, and I stand on it, the player competitions, the iron sharpens iron, the bloodbaths that Brad Holmes talks about, those are going to be where we find out a lot too. So I'm not worried at all. What I want to develop this second wave of guys, whether it's second waves offense or defense, guys that we're potentially going to be leaning on later on through the season as we get banged up, because it's inevitable that there's going to be things happen. Hopefully we can stay away from anything catastrophic, but there's going to be guys with bumps and bruises, miss a week here or a week there at a minimum. You got to have the other guys ready to step up. I want to see what we got in these guys, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. You got anything else for tonight?
That's it, man. Let us know how you're feeling about Jakobie, man. Is he a guy that you think can break into that starting group and find a way to make this roster? Do you think that he's any good, or we're just crazy for even talking about him? Because I think that he's a dog, man. And we're going to see sometime throughout this season, man, he's going to be helping somebody's roster.
I think he'll make the practice squad, but unless he has a really good preseason, we'll see. Time to be determined. Stick around, hit that like button. We'll be back later with another show.
Peace.